Why do usually European student visas get cancelled?
So many reasons. Students not following the timelines. This is the major reason. Budget is there, how your documents are ready, how many financials are required. So basically we help students and we tell students to plan if you have decided in any European country.
Let's suppose I have an offer letter on me right now. What should be my next step when it comes to visas?
The first step should be to get the unconditional offer letter if it's conditional. Complete the conditions, whatever documents are required, share it with the university and get the unconditional. Because seats are limited, they have to book their seat. So university asks the student, okay, this is your conditional offer letter, the condition is to make the payment.
My next question is, what would be the 3 top silent mistakes that a student makes while applying for the visas?
I would say the silent mistakes would be processing the visa at the last moment.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Abroad and Beyond Campus. I'm your host Suyash, and today we're going to dive deep into a topic that quietly decides whether your European dream takes off or gets delayed at the last time. Yes, we're talking about student visa, because getting an offer might feel like a big win, but getting your visa approved is what truly matters. To talk more on this, we have our expert Vinny Bagu, who will be sharing the do's and don'ts of an European visa. Hi Vinny, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Suyash, thank you for inviting me.
So Vinny, I think my first question would revolve around the trend that we have seen recently. Why do usually European student visas get cancelled?
So European student visas are getting rejected because of so many reasons. Students not following the timelines. This is the major reason. You get your offer letter, but you have to plan priorly that how your budget is there, how your documents are ready, how many financials are required. So basically we help students and we tell students to plan if you have decided in any European country if you want to go, be it Germany, be it France, be it Malta. They have certain timelines to follow. They have certain rules and regulations where they want the financials to be presented to them. Financial plays a major role when we are applying for the student visa. Then comes our sponsors, who is sponsoring your studies and stays being in Europe, because if you're going on a study visa, you need money to support you. I know students do not plan that way. This is the reason the applications get rejected. So the trend which we have seen, obviously every year new changes comes, new updates comes, and students are generally not aware about it. They think that okay, this was the reason, this was the thing, we'll go with that way. So we guide students in a way that this is the timeline that you need to follow. You should, put your visa applications at least 3 months prior to your class start date. This is the reason at MetaApply we introduced the Visa Clinic.
Oh, so is that a new initiative? What's Visa Clinic? Can you dwell more on that?
So, Suyash, the idea for the Visa Clinic was one-on-one consultation to the students so that they can be ready with their documents accurately required as per the requirement of the embassy, and there is no guesswork in the documentation and application. So we help students to make sure that their documents are accurately ready for the visa, because we have to make sure that the profile is as strong as so that we can get the visa.
Okay, I think that's a great initiative, but if I'm a student trying to book the meeting or the Visa Clinic, what's the schedule look like? My second part of the question would be, how do you guys manage the bookings?
So we share the link with students where they can book their slots. Currently we are having this on every Wednesday from 3 to 5. We give 20-minute slots to every student, and we also request the student to share their documents priorly so that we can we can complete the session in that 20 minutes. Even if it takes longer, we have more experts, so no student have to wait for their chance or for their slot. So we discuss all the documents, the financial requirement, the sponsorship documents, the income tax returns, what all documents are required at the time of visa. We also help students to be prepared for the interviews as well, because there are embassies who need the student to speak, because they are going to study in an English-speaking country. So they want to see whether the student is ready to understand and learn what they are going to do in that country. So yes, that is required. So This is how we help the student book their slot, come with your documents, have a discussion, have your one-on-one consultation, make sure your documents are embassy ready, and you apply for your visa.
That's great. I think it's very personalized and transparent so that the students can know about their whole process.
Yes, that the idea was that only, so that they don't see the rejections, because one rejection makes the student very demotivated.
Yeah, very true.
So we don't want them to feel that demotivated when it comes to have a international degree and they want to go to Europe. In any country in Europe, be it Germany, France, Malta. If I talk about majorly, but we want them to be motivated enough that they also get that confidence, okay, my documents are ready, now I can go and show these documents at the embassy, process my application and get the visa and go ahead with it. So that's the whole idea.
Nice. But since we are talking on the personalized one-on-one counseling segment, but my next question would be, does all this helps the parents emotionally?
Yes, in a lot of consultations, parents also sit with with their kids to understand, because eventually they are going to sponsor
the
their
decision
kids.
makers, yes.
Correct. They are going to put a lot of money in their studies and stay, and they have to send their kid outside India alone. So that gives the emotional support to those parents as well as the student, plus the confidence that okay, if these documents are ready, because they also put a lot of money while preparing those documents as well. If I talk about CA evaluation report, they have to give money to the CA to get those documents. So if we are guiding them priorly that this is the document required, they don't have to pay again and again to the CA or while filing the ITRs or all these documents. Even at the banks also, they have to go and get the documents again and again.
Yes.
So this helps them to get the confidence and emotional satisfaction that yes, wherever my student is going and through whose the application is going to process, it's actually going to be a well structured way that yes, they will get the visa and go ahead.
I get it. You're trying to help the student academically along with the parents financially.
Yes.
So that they have a stress-free study abroad journey. Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
To add on more on the student journey, precisely student academic journey, let's suppose I have an offer letter on me right now. What should be my next step when it comes to visas?
So first step should be to check the offer letter is conditional or unconditional. First thing first.
Okay.
We get the unconditional also, sometimes we get the conditional also. The first step should be to get the unconditional offer letter if it's conditional. Complete the conditions, whatever documents are required, share it with the university and get the unconditional. A lot of times what happens is the only condition mentioned on the offer letter is to make the deposit. Because seats are limited, they have to book their seat. So university asks the student, okay, this is your conditional offer letter, the condition is to make the payment. You complete the payment and start your visa process side by side. Simultaneously, you have to do that as well. So once you make the deposit, as per the requirement, sometimes they'll ask you to pay a minimum deposit, but for visa, we request the students to make at least 1 year deposit, which will make the profile more stronger.
Okay.
Rest you can show in your sponsor's documents who is going to sponsor you. At Germany, like if we talk about Germany, they want the block account. You have to deposit 11,942 euros in that. So, you have to start that process alongside making the payment, because it will take time. You open the block account, deposit the money into it, get the documents which are required for the visa. For Campus France, you need to complete the interview. So we ask the student to prepare yourself for the interview side by side. If we talk about Malta, same process. You need to give the documents, 3 months old financials, prepare yourself for the visa. We ask students to make sure that you have, gone through your complete offer letter. You are aware about your course. You are aware about what you are going to study. Why you have chosen this particular country. Why you have chosen this particular course that you are going to study. So these are the little steps which are required for the students. Obviously, that visa clinic, when we are guiding the parents, we tell parents as well that you have to make this much deposit and these much old funds are required. If they don't have those documents, then we help them to go for the intakes, because that is also our major thing, that we have to guide them along with the intake. Because as I mentioned earlier, we have to put the visa at least 3 months prior to the class start date.
Okay, since you mentioned intake, the upcoming intakes are May and September. Will my process for visa be same for both intakes, or is it a little different? Can you share some insights on that?
Yes. So if we talk about May intake, as per our expertise, I would say, as per our experience, you should complete the deposit by March end and put your visa by March end itself. Because every country has different process. Sometimes you need to get the date for Campus France interview. At Germany, you have to complete the CSP portal application, then you get the interview date. So that takes time because the delays are going, and September is a major intake. If I talk about, a lot of students goes in that intake. So June you should target that, you should get your admission done. Prior to that, in June you should put your visa application, because if by any chance embassy asks for additional documents as per your profile, because every profile is different, every sponsorship details are different, every financials would be different, every case scenario is different. So if by any chance embassy asks for some additional documents, you are prepared for that. You can give those documents in the given timeline. You can get your visa and start your classes as it is there. Since September is a major intake, we have to be ready for that.
Okay, so my take would be it's not about the intakes, but more about the timelines for the process and the conditions that you have to fulfill, whether it be a deposit, whether it be a document, stuff like that.
Exactly. Timelines plays the major role when it comes to processing the visa, especially in Europe, because embassies and consulates take their time in going through each and every application, checking each and every document, verifying it, and then going ahead with the visa finalization, approval or rejection, whatever they want to give. But our major thing is to make the profile as strong as we can so that we can get the visa approval at first place.
So if I as a student has a scheduled for the visa clinic booked for the coming week, what should I prepare for before joining the call, or is it there is a checklist for the students or something like that?
Generally, we advise the students, if you have booked your slot, you share your documents priorly with us so that we can go through the documents before coming at the visa clinic. But a lot of times what happens, students are not aware what documents they do require. We do guide them, but they don't understand it. But when it comes to financials, we advise the students to get your parents as well, because I have seen a lot of times parents are the primary sponsor. Obviously, parents are going to sponsor their kid, but students are not aware about their parents' financials, that how much ITRs do they file, how many savings do they have, if they want to take an education loan, how they are going to manage that, or if they are going to take another loan or something like that. So we advise students to get their parents along with them. But if they don't share documents with us priorly, then at the slot, like when it comes to the one-on-one session, we guide them along with the checklist that these documents are required. You prepare these documents and you can come again. You can book again your slot and come again with the financials verification or the discussion that how your documents can get ready. So this is the major challenge that we face when it comes to the financial part. So we actually advise them to get your parents so that we can have a deep discussion with the parents as well, because they need to think from where they'll get the money, how they are going to sponsor, how they are going to get into it, how they are going to prepare those documents and everything. As I mentioned earlier, parents' money is going in there. Not only giving the financials, but preparing the documents also needs some money. So we have to make sure that the money given by parents are not getting wasted.
Yeah, very true. It's a very planned journey, and I think every stage needs to be clear and as structured as it can be.
Exactly. So that's the whole point, that if you are coming, come with your parents. At least one parent should be there. If both are not available, obviously parents are also working, they can't come. It's a weekday, so even if one parent is coming, sometimes a lot of times what happens, siblings also come and join. So elder sibling come, join, because they are more aware about parents' financials than the younger one. So they understand. Then they inform us that we are going to discuss with our parents, and next time
this is our range that we are looking at.
Correct. This is our range, or this is what parents' financials are ready, or we can have a discussion with parents, and next time we can call the parents as well. So it depends on the availability, but student always there. If parents are available, they come. If elder siblings are available, they also come. So we can take them through the journey smoothly to make sure that everything is ready as per the embassy requirement.
Okay. Apart from, since you share a checklist, my next question would be, which document takes the longest time while applying for the visa or for the visa process?
Majorly financials. So the time taking process is education loan.
Education loan. If he is applying for a loan,
Correct.
not sponsored directly by the parents.
Correct. So, but we need parents' ITRs as well. So we make sure that their ITRs are timely filed, and we get the ITRs. There are documents required from the CA. The family valuation reports are required to check how much assets, liabilities do they have. So we check that as well. Plus, main time-taking thing is to get the appointments and everything. So accordingly, exactly, it's at the embassy, or if I talk about Campus France interview, if I talk about the Malta interview,
Okay.
Embassies, VFS take time in giving the slots because of
A
the
lot of
rush.
students are applying. Yes.
Correct. So right now, a lot of students are applying and inclined towards Europe. So that's the main thing. But financials plays the major role because they need to see their financials, whether they are old or no, because we need 3 months old funds to process the visa application. If they are not old and if they are planning to take education loan, we need the old funds. We have to plan the intake accordingly so that their financials are ready and we can go ahead with the process.
Makes sense. Even though the process is quite structured and we are being as transparent and as educated we want to be with the students, but there are still students and cases where they make mistakes. So my next question is, what would be the 3 top silent mistakes that a student makes while applying for their visas?
So I would say the silent mistakes would be processing the visa at the last moment. If your classes are going to start next month and you're putting the visa this month, that's the biggest mistake. You have to be planned enough to process the visa application at least 2 months prior. As I mentioned earlier, also at least 3 months prior. That's the biggest mistake.
Okay.
Second mistake would be going to the embassy with incomplete documents. We do share the checklist, at least follow that. We guide the student till the last moment that you need to carry these documents. So you have to make sure that all documents are aligned as per the checklist. You are carrying all the documents and everything. And the last mistake, I would say, not prepared enough for the interview. A lot of students get nervous while answering the questions at VFS. But when you are applying for the Campus France interview, you have to be accurate and it's your story that you are going to tell. So interviews are like telling your story. If you are not confident enough to explain your own story, that's the biggest mistake, I would say, when you are applying for a study visa.
And would you say that the visa clinic would help the student define their story in a much more structured and clear way?
Yes, we do share the questions of the interview with the student. We guide them, we explain them that you should be at least aware about these things. A lot of time happens, students are aware about their whole profile and everything, but when it comes to answer, they get little nervous or confused. So we guide them on each and every question. We actually explain them that what is the motive of this question and how your answer should be. So this is how we guide students, explain students. It's your story. You need to explain why you have chosen. You are going to put a lot of money in something. What will be the return of investment when it comes to your completion of education? It's about your future. It's about your career.
But there are multiple countries in Europe and students apply to most of them, all the Schengen countries. Is the process different for each country? Can you give me insights on any top 4 countries, 5 countries in Europe that have different processes?
So if I talk about Germany, you have to, once you complete the payment, you get the LOA, you complete your block account, you deposit money in block account, get the documents, complete the application on CSP portal, get appointment, go to embassy, submit your documents and come back and wait for your visa. If you talk about France, you have to complete the Campus France first, complete your interview over there, get the NOC from Campus France, book your appointment at PFS, go submit your documents and come. If I talk about Malta is very, very strict when it comes to the interview. So universities only help the students in booking their appointments at VFS and everything. They do charge, but students don't have to rush. So we submit the documents at the university first. They check each and every document, guide the student that this document should go in this way, this document should go in this way. Then they give the VFS appointment. Student have to go there along with the whole complete set of documents. They'll ask some questions. You answer those questions confidently, submit your passport documents and everything, and then come back. When it comes to Spain, you have to attest your documents from BLS book appointment, go submit, give interview, and then comes. If we talk about Netherlands, the process is different. If we talk about Hungary, once you complete the application, you have to go to consulate's office. They'll take a maths test of yours, a very basic mathematics test to check your presence of mind, how you are going to study, and take care of you when it comes to Hungary. Then you just submit your documents at the VFS office, submit your passport, and come back. So every country has different process. The base is again same. Your financials should be ready. Old financials are required. Where your money is coming from, how much money you have, how you are going to show your living cost because you are going to stay there. So all these things, the base is the same, I would say, but the processes are different for every
because
country.
of different countries.
Yes.
Okay, so because of different countries and student applying to different, might be a cohort of students who might have faced the rejection. So my next question is, what advice would you give them if they have come to your clinic?
They can always reapply. They can always reapply when it comes to visa rejection, but not with the same set of documents.
Or with the same country, would you say?
Yes, they can apply in the same country with updated set of documents. Obviously, if first thing first, we check why the visa got rejected.
Okay.
What was the reason? We check all the documents, everything, whether the financials were less, what the cover letter was not enough, or if the student was not able to answer the questions properly. So we check all those things before suggesting the student whether you should change the country or you can apply in the same country. But you can always reapply, but not with the same set of documents. You should always update your documents. Sometimes what happens is, what we have seen in terms of rejection, financials were not enough. Financials were less. So sometimes what happens, students go neck to neck. Okay, this is required, this is what we are taking. But they need to understand the exchange rate keeps on going up and down.
They need to keep a surplus, yes.
Correct. You cannot go neck to neck. Okay, this is required, this is what I have, let's go for it. You should always keep some surplus. If the exchange rate goes up, how you're going to manage that? So depends on that. We guide the students. First thing first, we check what was the reason for the rejection, and then we guide the student whether they can reapply in the same country with the updated set of documents as per the checklist, or they should change the country and apply some other country where the process will be more smoother as per their documents. What do they have? Because sometimes students come and say that we can't arrange more than this money. We have this much only. You guide us that whether we can go with this much amount only or no. So we have to make sure that they go complete their dream in, if not this country, then another country. But yes, we do guide them accordingly.
Thank you so much, Winnie. I think we've covered most of the points that is required, but we will be moving to another segment of our podcast, which is the rapid fire round. So this rapid fire round covers students' doubt that they have in their visa journey. So one word answer would be appreciated. So my first question is, what's the most common mistake?
Rushed applications.
And what's the most important document?
Clear financial proof.
Best time to start visa prep?
At least 3 months prior to your post start date.
Okay. One reason to attend your visa clinic?
Clear guidelines, confidence, and clear documents.
One sentence of advice for student dreaming of Europe right now?
Prepare your documents, prepare yourself for everything, and make sure that you are aligned as per the checklist that we have shared with you.
Great. Thank you so much, Winnie. It was lovely to have you over our podcast.
Thank you, Suyash.
So if you're planning to study abroad in countries like Netherlands, Spain, France, or any other European country, don't let stress, confusion, or small mistakes decide your future. Book your one-on-one visa clinic session. Get experts' eye on every document, because today's preparation doesn't just secure visas, but protects the dream you've built over the years. Thank you so much for tuning in, but that's the wrap for today's episode. If you find this helpful, like, share, and comment. Until then, stay curious, stay ambitious.